Hello, welcome. So I'm going to be swatching these. Apparently I don't know how to count. Yep, apparently I can't count. Oh no, I can't count. I just have an extra one. There are 15 new Roman Szmal Aquarius paints that have just been released. Here they all are. I'll rearrange them into some kind of nicer order, I guess.
Do you know where her furnace is?
She was wearing it yesterday. I took it off. Oh, there's a blue, like a giant reusable bag.
Downstairs?
Yeah. It might be in the mudroom. Sorry, so there are 15 new Roman Szmal Aquarius watercolor paints. And I'm gonna swatch all of these. Actually, I believe that it might be 14 and this one might be a special edition, the Lapis Lazuli. Or never mind, sorry. There's 14 in the regular new line, plus I've got November 2024. I'm going to use my little swatch stamp and make myself some swatch cards for these. One. Bye. Oh, I think I forgot to cut one of the papers here. Then I will also cut, oh yeah, I still need to cut these, okay. Moment. Then I'm just gonna cut these things. So usually I cut my swatch cards using a paper trimmer, but my good paper trimmer is at the other studio, so we're just using scissors and being pretty messy about this. It doesn't matter. I'm surprised. I thought this one would be a big hit. Not seeing a huge amount of people. Hello, hello. I hope everyone can hear me. I hope this isn't a sound issue. Oh, there we go. How is everyone's day going? I guess it is Black Friday for those of you in the States. Still just a regular work day for the rest of the world. I hope everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving had a good day yesterday. I hope everyone had a good day, but if you celebrated, I hope that was a good holiday. And I'm sorry I've been a little bit absent on my channel recently. I have a lot of health stuff going on, which I will probably discuss in a little bit more detail at some point soon, but a lot of it is up in the air, so I'm not really quite comfortable sharing right now. Nope. Well, that is uneven. Okay, I'm going to refill some water, adjust my camera, and get started. So I'm going to zoom in so that you get a nice close look at what I'm swatching directly. Sorry, let me go fiddle with this over here. There we go. All right, so that is there, and if I put one of these here, yeah, that looks good. Okay. I've got these in, I don't know, some kind of order. Every new paint release, it's pretty common that a company will release a bunch of related colors. It seems like, oh, we're releasing a whole bunch of new reds or a whole bunch of new pinks. And I think the main focus, the main theme of this release, there's 15 new paints. A bunch of them, or sorry, there's 14 new paints, plus there's a special edition for this month. A bunch of them are reds and pinks. There's recently been some discontinued paints, discontinued quinacridones, so a lot of these are replacements for that, I believe. So the first I'm going to test is Carmine Hue, and Carmine Hue is made with PR. Oh, let me just push that up a little. Carmine Hue is made with PR 221. Roman Szmal Aquarius name. Carmine Hue. PR 221. I don't recognize that pigment number, but then again, I recently have not been and this says medium staining. So I'm gonna medium granulating. So I'm gonna color in 1/2 of this. And transparency is semi-transparent. Hello! Hi everyone! If anyone wants to jump in with pigment information for any of this, I am very welcoming of that. I have been out of the loop and my brain hasn't been as good at holding on to this sort of information as it used to be, so I don't really recall if I've ever seen this PR221 pigment before. It's not ringing a bell as something obvious. It is a new addition to the Roman Szmal Aquarius line. All of them are. It's the first time I've seen this pigment at all, I think. And I'm going to, hopefully this pen will hold on here. PR221. And this is Carmine Hue. And then I also got this really fun dagger brush. So I think this is synthetic hair. It's got this nice little triangle edge and a big painting area. So it should be good for painting both finer details and larger areas. And I'm gonna try it right on these swatches. So first I'm doing the mask tone where I'm just trying to get a pretty dark, it is a bit, it feels a little bit wild, just like the, or maybe my hands are just shaking. Oh, that's a fun new symptom. It feels a little bit like this is forcing some loss of control here, forcing a bit more of a loose technique unless I choke right up, even though it's got a nice narrow, oh, I guess if I turn it this way, yeah, it does want to just sort of, that is an interesting brush. Okay, cool. So I got these 15 paints plus this brush in my little goodie bag, goodie box. Yeah, new to me. All right, yeah, so it doesn't seem to be very highly tinting. There's like maybe a little bit of granulation to it, which is kind of neat. Which I guess they did say it was semi-granulating, and it's not very, it doesn't seem to be a very mobile pigment. A lot of Roman Szmal Aquarius pigments like to just shoot across the page, and this doesn't seem to be one of the ones that does that a huge amount. You'll, like, you know, I'm adding water, but it's not really, you know, if I put some more paint on here, it's not really shooting into that wet area. Let's try some more here. So that's that, and I'm gonna put this in a little tin just to hold on to for now. I thought I had a little tin set aside for these. No? to use one of these. Oh no, there it is. There it is. That's the little tin I was going to use. Okay. Just for now, I have this little tin. I'm just going to store these all away. Okay, next. So the next one is Quinacridone Rose. It's interesting that they didn't already have a paint named Quinacridone Rose. That is such a common name, usually a PV19. This is an unnamed quinacridone pigment. They've called it Quinacridone Rose, and it appears to be a very bright pink. We'll try that. So sometimes paint companies release paints and they hide what the pigment is. So an example of that would be something like the cadmium-free colors from... Hi Paolo, how are you? An example of that would be something like the cadmium-free colors from Winsor & Newton, where they very specifically they say it's proprietary, what they're using as a pigment, but they are known pigments, they're just not, they don't declare them. What's going on here with the Roman Szmal paints that don't have a pigment is something a little bit different. This is not Roman Szmal keeping trade secrets. This is, he's using a pigment that either hasn't been assigned a pigment index number yet, or the pigment itself is owned by, like the formula is owned by a lab and they are not registering, or is owned by a company and they are not choosing to register that pigment, so there is no number. So there are a few pigments like that. Some of them are just so new they don't have a assigned pigment index, and some of them have been around for a while but aren't going to get an assigned pigment index because the people producing it don't want to. But I just wanted to make that clear with Roman Szmal, when there are there's no pigment information on the paints, it's not because he is trying to hold it back from his customers. It's just literally he's using something where it's not available. Yes, they're very exciting. So I just swatched the first one, this Carmine Hue made with PR 221. Now I'm swatching a PR not applicable Quinacridone Rose. So PR, whole thing. Not okay, sorry, I need to get my pen running again. Let's try like this. Not applicable. And that is I'm going to see if I can find a Sharpie fine liner. They're kind of better for this. Nope, I've got regular size Sharpies and various other pens, but not what I was looking for. Okay, it's mildly annoying. It's really strange that Quinacridones. There are several unlisted Quinacridones. I mean, you can double check, but there's one that's more of a deeper red that's used in Winsor Newton's Carmine or something. It's been that way for years, like decades. And there's a few pink ones that are just not assigned. So no, it's not really surprising that there's unassigned quinacridones. It's not that they're necessarily a new discovery. It's that the exact process is owned by a company who is choosing not to register that pigment with a pigment index. Some of them are new, but some of them it's not. Yeah. What is kind of surprising to me is that this is called Quin Rose, which somehow in Quinacridone Rose, which somehow in Roman Szmal's crazy line, he had not yet assigned Quinacridone Rose. Like there was no paint named Quinacridone Rose. Yeah, they are already registered in the site. Doesn't like the pigment. Okay, tell me more. This has, sorry, a weird sort of, I'd say almost a opacity to it. Let's see, oh shoot. Actually, if I take this and I go, let's see how this, okay, so this is going to want to spread. That's good. Something to know. And we're just going to spread this all out here. And then if I take this over, I start painting it through. Oddly, it isn't shooting across as much as they sometimes do, but yeah, it's got like an interesting, almost an opacity to it. Yeah, that's interesting. It's weird. It's also showing up much redder on screen than it is in person. Like in person, it's very much a hot pink. And I'm seeing like more of a salmon tone there. They now have 219 colors. I thought they were up to 240 at some point. Now they did have to remove a bunch because of discontinued pigments. Fascinating, 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 fascinating. Yeah, but cameras have really problems reproducing reds. Kind of looks like eosine. Again, tell me more. Quinacridone Rose. So apparently this has a light fastness of 8. It is medium staining. Oh, you know what? sorry. I think this was actually, whatever, I'm a little bit confused about the staining. No, sorry. And, oh, entrant. Okay, no. I did this right, and now I'm just doing it wrong. So, and non-granulating. There we go. And pigment number is PR, not applicable. Unless you've got a different information from Artist Pigments. If you know what is in here, I will happily put numbers down or other information. I believe that there's a new Lapis Lazuli. This doesn't say Afghan. And I also know that Lapis Lazuli Afghan was a limited edition. And I believe this is just in the regular line. But I can't be sure. Really, I don't know these things for sure. I got a heads up just over a week ago that there were going to be a bunch of paints released, and would I like to test them? And I said yes, absolutely, and that's all I know. Use the paint number 381. Yes. Yeah, so my understanding is that there's 14 additions to the regular line. Plus, this is the November 2024 paint, which, oddly, I don't think that there's pigments printed on it. That is weird. That is a weird thing. That is something that can be found on Roman Szmal's Facebook page, so I'll get back to that. But yeah, so then there's these two, and then I'll just get these right over, and I will swatch the next one. Then I've got Quinacridone Warm Pink, which is made with PV42. So that is very widely that's a widely available pigment. It's not as common as some of the other quinacridones, but it's very much there. They don't list the pigments as well. Okay. I think I misread something earlier, or you said Oh, okay. So you had said Artist Pigment doesn't like the pigment, and I thought like they had commentary, and I was like, is that a thing? I thought Artist Pigments just sort of stated facts, not you meant they didn't list them. Yeah. Okay, great. If they don't know, I definitely don't know. And I suspect that it's just proprietary and just has not been assigned a pigment number because somebody somewhere didn't feel like it's assigned a pigment number. So this is PV42. This does have a pigment number. And yes, I'm crossing my fingers for new orange. Alas, in this collection, there is no new orange. There's like a gold and there's a orangey brown, but there's no orange. This is all there's lots of purples and lots of muted greens. And blue things. Wait, whoa. Yeah, okay, so this is one of those pigments that just wants to shoot across the page. Oh, and I was just off screen for that, sorry. No new orange? What malarkey? Perfect, perfect. I will get back to that when I do the November 2024 one. Oh shoot, and I should have maybe labeled this before dipping into it. Quin. Warm pink. B42. Okay. And then if I take the package, which had the information on it, Quinacridone, warm pink, Roman Szmal Aquarius, light fastness 8. Medium staining, non-granulating, and yeah, okay, and fully transparent. Okay, there we go. And so then this is PV42. Okay, so that's those. And then this is what I'm most excited about. I accidentally leaked this one last year. So there was a release in September of last year, and I accidentally leaked this beautiful, beautiful thing, which I did not fully realize had been sent to me in confidence as an early prototype, an early formula, just for my personal opinion. And so this is called Quinacridone Magenta Intense. It is another unnamed quinacridone. I had wondered whether it was just a different version of PR122. It looks a lot like PR122, but it's a much stronger PR122. Please remember to show us the swatching, or else. Yes, I know, that's kind of the point of this video, isn't it? Alright, maybe can I just zoom out just a tiny bit? I'm trying to get up close with the swatching, but it just means that I'm just a little bit limited and like just, you know, want it nice and close, crop nice and close. Yeah, I am impressed that the new releases here from Roman Szmal, I mean, they do have some fun, you know, effects mixes for sure, but that they do tend to be mostly new pigments every time. So this is another PR not applicable. And on this side we write nice and honeyish. Okay, let's toss that. Quinacridone Magenta Intense, my favorite. If I do a version 2 of my Wild Curiosity palette, link in the description below. If you order from me right now, you get a choice. I will either refund you your shipping or send it to you via some carrier other than Canada Post, because Canada Post is on strike right now. Quinacridone, Magenta Intense. Or my thing, and it's like the only line I own every color. Interesting. I didn't know that you were big on Winsor Newton. I like them just fine. They have a few colors that I really, really like. I really like Winsor Newton's Transparent Orange. I mean, it's also available as Aquarius Orange from Roman Szmal Aquarius, and if one day Roman Szmal Aquarius releases tubes, then they will fully supplant my Winsor Newton dependence, because that is one of a few paints that, like, yeah, if I wanted it in tubes, that's Winsor Newton, because Roman Szmal Aquarius does not have all of the things, and they don't have tubes. Or they have all of the things, but they don't have tubes, so so I still depend on other brands for stuff. Although again, like, I don't feel the need to be brand loyal. It's just, this has been easy for me because I get sent all of these paints. They were definitely the first professional watercolors I owned. I think that's very common. You know, outside of, like, if you're in Germany, you get Schminke, but Schminke's extremely expensive and used to actually be very difficult to find in Canada. Seven, 8. Let's look at that. Let's fill out these details. So, Quin, Magenta, Intense. Roman Szmal Aquarius, pigment number PR, not applicable. And this is listed as non-granulating, medium staining, and transparent. Everything is here shifted red. Let me see if I can white balance this a little bit better, because this is, my camera is not really enjoying this. Okay, let's see. If it's a little better. Winsor Newton's burnt sienna is fun. It's very different from other burnt siennas, so it is, because it's a transparent a transparent iron oxide. So apparently, I was just talking to Lena about this. Lena, you still around? Paint companies, Golden, discussed how it is becoming harder to source earth pigments, and so a lot of companies are moving to more synthetics and less natural earth pigments, which is a trend that I'd noticed and just seems bonkers. Because earth pigments are, I mean, yes, a lot of them are sourced from mining operations where, you know, something's being mined, limestone or clay or something for some other industry, and artist pigment suppliers get the dust. But at the same time, most of the earth pigments, it's not that they're, you know, a really difficult or precious thing. This like large industry is an easy way to get a consistently large amount, but it's just the idea of like what you can't get, a natural red sandstone. They're everywhere. Just go bash a rock somewhere. The fact that we're so divorced from the world around us that it's somehow genuinely cheaper and easier for art pigment suppliers to get something that's produced in like some synthetic organic compound that requires all sorts of complicated steps to produce versus just go find a rock on the ground. Hi, Jill. The colors are okay, sorry. Paolo, Quinacridone Magenta Intense is listed as Quinacridone Magenta Intense is listed on Artist Pigments? Yes? That is something that has a named pigment, that has a pigment number assigned to it, just not by whoever sold it to Roman Szmal. I know that Roman Szmal, for example, he has his own preferences about how he names things. So for things that are a natural earth pigment, he may put PBR 7, but he'll always put natural earth beside it. And then he also, with Aquarius Orange, it took a while for whoever he was buying his pigment from. I don't even know if he has yet. It is PO107. And it was always expected to be PO107. So when Winsor Newton first released that as Desert Orange in a special edition, they listed it as PO107. And then when they got it again, it turned out that it had not been officially assigned the pigment number yet. It was like waiting or something, so they removed the pigment number from their packaging by the time Roman Szmal added it, it had actually been officially assigned, but whoever was supplying him hadn't listed it, and he said he didn't feel comfortable putting in the pigment number if he didn't buy it with a pigment number or something. But so, you know, he has his feelings about how he wants to label his paints. He's very open about what he's using, but he's not, whatever. I tend to the other side, where I would rather include any information I do know, even if it's not through the most official channels. So I've always labeled mine as PO 107. I've always said that's what the pigment's in it, and you can get it from these two companies. Look at Quin Gold. It's produced from PV19 and nobody is doing it. Yes, Quin Gold is a morph of other quinacridones. There was somebody who did it on a home scale. Which, hey, you know, if you want to make a lot of money, somebody wants to make a lot of money, like as a you know, individual. I get that there's not the market to like really support a production line of the stuff, and like it's difficult to get consistent results in tiny batches, but I think I have seen PY43 as a, yeah. Okay, so this is Mineral Pink made with PB28, or sorry, PB29 and PR122. So this is one of those, you know, imperial purple type things. A fun effects mix where the ultramarine blue will separate out from the Quinacridone Magenta. Okay, let's get some more water in there, let it really properly mix up. So if I take some more up here and I go, yeah, all right. That should be informative or something. Okay, we'll throw a little bit more there. And we'll put a mouse tone over here. Oh my goodness, I keep doing this where I'm swatching just out of screen. Sorry. Oof. Okay, I'm gonna move this a little this way. And then I'm gonna move everything over. I am going to play with this wash a little bit more because I feel like it's got too much going on, but I wanted to show some more of the I just take some more here and just add some more water. I just want it to flow around and show more of its effects. The Quin Magenta Intense is gorgeous. It's really, really beautiful. It is still showing up as more red here than, like, it is more of a purpley magenta than it's showing on camera. I will try to adjust this. I am recording this as well as painting so that I can make this into an edited video, and yeah, so hopefully I'll release that tomorrow. We'll see. Medium staining. Okay, so we're gonna say this is very granulating. Yep, all the way granulating. And the light fastness is 7/8. Okay, next up. Is the mineral pink a single pigment? No, it's sorry, it's a very predictable mix. PB29 plus PR122. Next I'm going to be swatching Forest Green, which is another effects mix. Let's see, let's get all of these out to here. Oh, I think this is new. I think Roman Szmal pans used to just have a plain bottom. They've got a cute little embossed Roman Szmal thing on them now, which is neat. Okay, so Forest Green is made with PB29, PBR11, and PY150. Forest Green. Okay, well that is very, very intense. And then if I take this again and come through here, it is very like dark in mass tone, very thick, very like, rather opaque really. And then if I add some water, let's add water from the other side, see how it flows. Like crazy is how it flows, and then we'll see how it settles into the paper. And so this is listed as granulating, light fastness 8, medium staining, and semi-transparent, or semi-opaque rather, and the pigment number is, well, there are 3. 3 pigment numbers are PB29, PBR11, and PY150. PBK19 plus PBK32. Ah, yes. Isn't mineral pink like rose of ultramarine and Daniel Smith? Yes, I guess that's probably, yeah. There's like rose of ultramarine and imperial purple, and yes, I guess this is more like rose of ultramarine. Okay, yes, we've got a whole bunch more stuff left to go. Now we've got Indigo Greenish, which contains no indigo, PB15-3, PG7, and PBK7. That color's not what I think of as pink. There's a few things like that, right? Where some company releases a... I wonder whether I can... Sorry, I'm trying to figure out... I thought I could fit all of my pans in one little tin that I've got, and I think I may have overestimated how well these things pack. Definitely did. Okay, well, that's okay. Yes, this is more of a purple to me, but as it separates, there's some areas that are getting pretty pink. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and then I smudged this right out. Okay, well that's fun. Let's see. So this is Indigo, or sorry, yeah, Indigo Greenish. Maybe it's the same in Polish. It might be. There is something called a Quinacridone pink in the Roman Szmal line that is a PR122. I, for the life of me, cannot figure out what the difference. I think I like the magenta slightly better. I think the pink is slightly bluer and slightly lighter, but I'm honestly not even sure. They are very, very, very similar. Two different versions of PR 122. And it always struck me as a little bit weird because it didn't really look like a pink to me, but I think that, yes, that's probably just a translation issue where every language has, like, you know, the closest word to what in English we might consider pink might be something a little bit different that has a slightly different connotation. Indigo Greenish. This is PB 15.3, PG 7, PBK 7. Right, so this says very staining, non-granulating, and semi-transparent. I don't think that Munsell's rolling in his grave. He was all about the, like, defining, you know, have a system for the words that we describe. You know, color names are a description. They're not a definition. Oh, these are all some, like, really inky colors when they come out. This is really nice. I am enjoying these inky colors. Oh, I'm gonna try to pick some of this up though, because this is, again, just very, very, like, it would be nice to be able to see something other than it's just dark. So yeah, that's super, super highly pigmented, inky colors. That's fun. Okay, next up, let's try this. Oh, sorry, I said this isn't the Lapis Lazuli Afghan, but it is, I think, because this just says Lapis Lazuli here, but that's where the pigments would usually go. Or where the name, something. But then on the back, it says Lapis Lazuli Afghan. So, maybe this is the special edition one. I don't entirely know. If somebody is on Facebook, you can go check in Roman Szmal's posts. He shared the new release paints. And so I'm not sure what the story with this one is. I do know that there is a special edition for this month that I have as well. Bye, Paolo. Okay, I'm gonna need to go run downstairs and grab something to put in my face because I'm feeling a little woozy. I will be right back. And I'm back. It says that too. So in the no, that's the wrong one. In the pigment area, it says earth pigment, which is what he puts down for whatever earth pigments are, don't have a common pigment code. Now Lapis Lazuli does, but it's frequently just sold as the stone rather than by its pigment code. I forget what the pigment code is. It's like, I want to say PB1, but I don't think it is. It's a low number though. So it says that in the pigment information. On the other side, it just says Lapis Lazuli, made in Krakow, Poland. And on the back, it says Lapis Lazuli Afghan. So it is, at the very least, sourced from Afghanistan, presumably the same source as the special edition. I do not know if this release means that it is now in the regular line, or whether they've just extended the special edition or something. I don't know. I have a couple times a year I speak to Roman Szmal, and he fills me in on some things and adds to my confusion in other ways. And maybe sometime in the nearest future I'll get a chance to actually go see this factory, but okay, I will test this one. I think I might have an older version of the other one. Okay, I don't know. Time to swatch. Sorry, I'm having some banana bread because I was feeling a little woozy there. You'll notice that nothing is drying at all in my house right now. It is a damp cold here. Usually in the winter in Canada it would be pretty dry inside because we heat quite a bit. But we had a lot of really, really, really wet days, and then we, even though it's like pretty cold out now, we're not heating our house very warm because I'm heat sensitive. And so indoors it's both cold and damp right now. And so nothing's drying, which is fine. But that's just how it is. Definitely worth a visit. Yes, well, so I am currently talking to the Canada Council for the Arts about the best way to structure a grant application to send me to Krakow for a couple weeks. Really just a week or two. And visit the Roman Szmal paint production facility, as well as a corset maker who I've worked with, because I have a project I started with her, and I'm not sure, whatever. There's a couple of different options for what grant I apply to, and whether I should list both of the things, or whether that's just overcomplicating and I should just choose, you know, I'm working with this corset maker and just by chance I'm visiting Roman Szmal. I need to talk, so I'm talking to program advisors, but I'm hopeful that I can actually get the Canadian government to fund my trip for the value to the creative world. Okay, this is, I think I did try one of their lapis lazuli before, and this is pretty bright as this pigment goes. Like, obviously it is not synthetic ultramarine, but it, you know, sometimes lapis lazuli can be a little bit grayish, like really hard to re-wet, and this is pretty good. Okay, so the truth is that also it's quite possible that Jackson's doesn't even know. I mean, you can also ask Jackson's, but they may have started, like, listed something as a limited edition, then received a new shipment, and relisted it, even if it is identical to the thing they had before, just because the thing they had before was listed as limited edition. I don't know, but you could ask them whether there's even a difference between the two things. Earth, pigment. Lapis lazuli. Lapis lazuli, and then where did the, what am I what am I even looking for? I am looking for the information. 8, non-staining. Okay, so it's granulating. It's non-staining, and it's semi-transparent, and the light fastness is 8, and the pigment number is Earth Pigment. Yeah, so I've been confused like throughout this whole process. There was another whatever secret experimental product that I'd been teased about that was supposed to arrive with this shipment, and the box arrived damaged. I'll see if I got an answer. The box arrived damaged, so I'm not sure whether something fell out of this box or whether it wasn't sent. I mean, yeah. Haven't gotten an answer yet, but it's possible that this is in fact whatever, and that would be fine. It's just possible that something got lost in the mail. Then I'm also confused about yeah, what the release is, because I thought my initial conversation with Roman Szmal was that there was 14 new colors, then I got 15, then I realized that one of them is a special edition, which is this, what I'm swatching next actually. It's November 2024. It's the next thing I'll swatch. But yeah, just in general, like I'm not entirely sure what all these things are and what's a regular and what's limited edition and etc. I'm gonna put down my next paint here. So this is November 2024. And then somebody had found the pigments for that way back up here somewhere. PR 122. Wow, that's a lot of pigments. Okay, PR 122. I'll start here. PR 122. And then PG7. PB15-3 and PBK7. Mass tone, dark, dark, dark. As a surprise to nobody. Okay. If I just put down all of this, and then I take here and I put down this guy and let it spread around. that have over here. Okay, light fastness 7, staining, non-granulating. Fascinating. Okay. I mean, I guess it would be or very lightly granulating. And semi-transparent. Okay. Okay, that's pretty. So that one's there. Next, we do whatever this guy is. Lava. Oh, that's a fun name. Can I? Okay, and then I will take that, put this over here, and PG-17. It's a fun first thing. PB-29. PR-255. Yes, I suppose those are 3 pigments you could mix. I've seen the pictures of it. It looks really interesting. And cool. I just, sometimes I see these mixes and I'm like, well, the reason why I haven't discovered that this makes this cool mix is because who would think of mixing these things? I'll be right back. And there we go, back. I'm gonna swatch my yeah. Yeah, that's fun. That mixes a little bit like Caput Mortuum. It really is. I think it's like a little bit more intense with the granulation and separation, where like Caput Mortuum does separate quite a bit, but as this is separating, like I'm seeing more of the green separate out than you might see in a Caput Mortuum sort of shade, but yes, it does have a lot of that sort of feel. Okay, medium staining, granulating, and then semi-opaque, and light fastness 7 to 8. 7 to 8? Oh, sorry, it's PB20. I guess he's giving PR 255 a 7? Everything else is super light fast in here. Oh, I don't know. Lava. Okay, and then what is next? Iron Chromite Black. No, I'll do that last. I'm going to rearrange what order I do these things in. Next, I'm going to do Nickel Azo Gold. This is made with PY150 and PR102. So again, I suspect that this is playing with different mixes to replace Quin Gold. There were a few in the Roman Szmal Aquarius line already, but he had to discontinue things containing P048 because Quinacridone Burnt Orange or Quinacridone Rust is also no longer available now. So I suspect that this is, all right, the other Quin Gold. This one's called Nickel Azo Gold. Sorry, I missed a question earlier about wonder how forest green compares to Aquarius green. Forest green is a little bit brighter. Aquarius green is a little bit more muted. But they're very similar. That is the sort of thing where, like, you probably don't need both of them in one palette. Alright, where did my packaging for that thing go? Too many little wrappers here. Whatever, I know what it is. It's PY150 plus P. PR102? PR102. And it has a wrapper somewhere in my thing here that has its information about staining and granulating, but whatever, it's an eight, it's probably super staining, and lightly granulating, and I would expect transparent. I can find the wrapper. I cannot. Okay, that's fine. Mass tone. Yep, that is nice and... In mass tone, it is identical to a Quin Gold when it's applied. Now let's see how it does in washes. Now the thing with Quin Gold hues is they tend to shift more yellow in their washes because the Nicolazo dominates in tints because it's so strongly tinting. And so where you have less of the other paint, it ends up shifting more, having more of a shift than the original real deal. And this seems like that sort of thing too. It's also got a little bit of granulation because it's got some PR102 in it. That is the price you pay for this not being a true Quin Gold. Did I label this? I did not. I'll go label it now. As a gold, and then we put that up there and we get to over here, over there. This is German Green Earth. PG23 Earth Pigment. I have to say, Green Earth is just so rarely something that I want to paint with, so that's not likely not going to be my favorite thing, but eight. It claims to be non-staining, non-granulating, and completely transparent. Do I believe this? Non-staining, non-granulating, completely transparent. Okay then. Just for fun, I am gonna darken this swatch line here because I would like to get a clear idea of whether this actually is completely transparent and non-granulating, and that'll be easier to do if I've got a clean black line there. Other green arts are a bit granulating. Yes, I would expect it to be a little bit granulating, and I would also expect it to be not listed as completely transparent. Like, it's low tinting, so... But I'm looking at this in the pan, and I mean, it looks pretty milky to me. I can't imagine that it's not going to show up against, you know, a darker color. Okay, I'm somewhat impressed with that. Let's see. I'm trying to get, you know, as much of this as I can. But I don't know. I would say it's like, given that they have such a fine gradation of how transparent things are listed here, if your choices were only transparent or opaque, I would say, yeah, okay, it's transparent. But it's like, oh, it's semi-transparent, semi-opaque. Like, they have 4 different options, and I would not necessarily choose the fully transparent option here. Given some of the other things that are, like, Quinacridone Rose is listed as semi-transparent. Yeah. Sometimes it dries a bit less milky. Yes, well, we'll see that. But it just seems like that isn't the milky the point. Like, I keep wondering whether this is going to grow on me, because I used to have like a similar opinion about Potter's Pink as I do about Green Earth. Like, well, this is kind of pointless. And now I use Potter's Pink everywhere, so, you know, I can be changed. I can be reasoned with. It is possible. Okay, and then if I move that one back up there, move this over here. This is Davy's Gray, which seems like almost a more intense version of that Green Earth. Made with PBK 19 and PBK 32. PBK 19 and PBK 32. So PBK 32 is Perylene Green Deep, and PBK 19 is what now? Okay, fascinating. I don't like that it's more brown than green. Yeah, I think in person it's a little bit more of a like a minty shade than you're getting on the thing. Let's see. There's definitely some bit of brown to it, but looking at the screen versus the... So there's definitely some granulation, and I feel like in the granulated areas, like some of the granulation comes out more brown, but it's definitely like a... You know when somebody serves you a matcha latte that's like really not quite green enough? That's just got a little bit of like, what happened here to this milky green tea? So what is PBK19? I'm blanking. I'm trying to understand how 2 blacks makes this. Because one of the blacks is greenish, so okay, I understand where this green tone is coming from. But where is this very, very light tone coming from? What is PBK19? Slate gray. Okay. All right. That is some light slate. Like that is some very nearly white slate then. Wow, okay. I do think that this has somewhat more use than the one before. In that it's got like a little bit more tinting strength. I don't know, I feel like often the green earth paints is just like, well, what do you do with them? They're not, it's just sort of a nothing thing where it's like they're not adding much in any direction. They're not adding, they're low tinting, but they're also not very strongly granulating the... Right, but so PBK32, the second pigment in this, is a perylene green. It's quite dark. So I guess if you have just a tiny bit of that, plus a huge amount of the slate, then that's how you get this. Kind of neat. Okay. And again, this is listed as non-staining, non-granulating, and transparent. I don't know that I fully agree with that assessment. I would say that this is not non-staining. Well, sorry, I don't know about staining. Probably non-staining. I would say that this has some granulation and that it does have some serious opacity to it. Light fastness 8. But between these two, I feel like this I could actually see using in some situations, and this one I really struggle. Where would I really use this? Okay, so that's that. I'm going to move that away, put this over here, and I'm going to do the very... Oh, no, there's 2 more. 2 more. Okay, let's see if I can fit... Can I fit 15 in here? Probably not, huh? Probably not. I doubt I can fit 15 in there. Maybe if I put the one of them over here. Alright, so I'm gonna have to bump one of these paints from the island, and I think I'm probably voting my German green earth is going to have to go somewhere else, into a different tin, because I don't have enough space in this tin. Fine. Okay, next up, burnt sienna, brownish. This is a brownish, a brownish brown. Light fastness 8, medium staining, granulating, and semi-transparent. Okay, and we're gonna do this, and I'm going to Isn't Davy's Gray one of the Daniel Smith colors? I mean, what do you mean by one of the Daniel Smith colors? Like they have a color named Davy's Gray? Probably. I'm sure they're not the only ones who have a color named Davy's Gray. Like I don't think that it's named by Daniel Smith, if that's what you mean. Yeah, I think the name comes, like, pre-exists Daniel Smith. Pretty sure. Nope, sorry, and I should check the pigment here. Pigment is PBR7. So Roman Szmal likes putting down earth pigment for things, specifically colors that have a specific, like a named source. A specific location that this earth pigment comes from. Then he'll put the pigment if it's available in uncommon usage, but also likes labeling it as just an earth pigment, which is great. Green on the left and less saturated as well as lighter. Well, yeah, so I applied more paint on the left. Certainly of this swatch, that's deliberate to see what it does as it waters out. But on the mass tone, usually try to make it a little bit more even. But it also shows how the paint flows. So here, if I apply these guys, add some water here. So this will show me, you know, as I add water, that this paint wants to spread some amount. Less than some, more than others. and then as it dries, how that dries. So that dark line shows what the opacity or transparency is, like how much the paint is visible on top of black. And then there, right beside it, I can try a lifting test to lift it out. And then how it washes out is a thing to watch as well. Cooler left, warmer right. Well, it is made with 2 pigments. So one of them might flow more than the other, leaving the warmer pigment more dominant in one area than the other. That's probably not the most obvious example of that sort of behavior, but like if you look at this, this has a blue and a magenta in it, and you can see how they separate out. So those are effects paints, they do that. That's a thing that's, you know, specifically chosen for. Likewise, this lava here. That burnt sienna is super red. It is, yeah, and it's interesting that it's called burnt sienna brownish, because it is not, it's not, you know, Winsor Newton burnt sienna reddish. Like that stuff is, I mean, pretty bright, but that's also a transparent iron oxide. This is a PBR7. For a PBR7, this is some very reddish PBR7. I will agree with that, yeah. Although, I will note that everything on my screen right now is looking just a tad more reddish than I can really... It's like a little bit warmer. Everything's looking like the warm colors are just a little bit more saturated, and no matter what I do to try to adjust that, maybe that's a little bit better. Burnt sienna is usually a very red-brown. Well, I mean, usually is an interesting word. It is usually a warm brown. It usually has some orange shades. What level of warm brown, and whether it's like more reddish or more orangey is variable. It depends often on whether you grew up with Winsor and Newton or not, because Winsor Newton uses what they call burnt sienna. Is not burnt sienna, it's transparent orange iron oxide, or I think it's called transparent red iron oxide, but it's a very, very, very orangey tone, like a rusty orange. And so if you're used to that being burnt sienna, then every other like natural burnt sienna will look dull by comparison. And dark and brown. This is definitely duller, darker, browner than Winsor Newton's burnt sienna. But compared to other burnt siennas in the world, not so much. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's like terribly out of range. It's just compared to other things within this line, is like, is this the brownest, you know, burnt sienna brownish. Compared to other burnt siennas in this line, I don't know. There are some burnt siennas in this paint line that seem more brown to me. Although as it's drying, it's losing some of that saturation and coming down a little bit more. So maybe that's this on the screen is looking a little bit misleading. Again, it's just looking a little bit redder than it really does in real life. Okay, I'm gonna move that up there, move this over here. And my very last paint here, where'd I put it? Where'd you go? There's one last paint. Ah, there it is. Iron Chromite Black. Black. True, some use PBR7, some PR101. Yeah, so PR101 is just going to be, always going to be more of that rusty orange color. And so, you know, teaching classes here where a lot of people are just used to that's what burnt sienna is. If they see PBR7, which is a natural earth, and almost always much more muted, it seems off. Okay, iron chromite. Oh my goodness, sorry, me too. What is the pigment in iron chromite? PBR29. How did the green earth dry? Is it more transparent now? I mean, more? Yes. 100% transparent? I would not say this is a transparent pigment. Just compared to, like, just within the range of what else was labeled semi-transparent. It just seems to me like other things were labeled semi-transparent that are significantly more transparent, so it just seems a little bit backwards. Yeah, like it definitely has some transparency to it. It's not, you know, it's not a PG-17. It's not super opaque, but nonetheless, I fill in, when there's manufacturer information available, I fill in what the manufacturer says for these swatch cards. I just have my own running commentary of how I would do everything different from everyone in the world. You know, if only I ran my own paint company, haha. That's what I need, more hobbies. More business ideas. So Mish, how was your trip to New York? You all settled in now? This is iron chromite. PBR29. Roman Szmal Aquarius, and it has some information. It is medium staining. It is granulating as all get out. And it is no, they want this semi-opaque. Okay, all right. And, oh, was the last thing? Right. Light fastness 8. Okay. And then I will rearrange the things and zoom out so everyone can see all the things. And then do myself a quick little painting with this that I can publish tomorrow because I've been in and out of doctor's appointments all week and I still haven't painted my mushroom for the mushroom collab. Okay, and then I can just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's adjust this and move everything down a little. Everything down a little. Move those down a little. Move those down a little. Move those down a little. All right, there we go. So there's a whole bunch of swatches. I will scan them and put them up on Patreon, as well as I'll make a edited video that features some of these. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. All right, I think I should probably go take a break, have some dinner now, and yeah, hopefully I'll get a mushroom video out tomorrow. You finished? I think I'm done. I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. Mushrooms, yes indeed, mushrooms. It'll be a quick one. Probably just gonna do a little sketch. Or you know what? I actually have a mushroom video from almost exactly a year ago that needs a quick edit and a re-release. So if I can't do anything else, I will just re-release that with a quick edit and some changes. But I do also have some plans. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it would be really cool to use some of these, like, there's some really cool dark moody colors, like the November 2024, the Lava, Indigo Greenish, Mineral Pink, and Nickel Azo Gold, and the Forest Green. I feel like if I mean, like, nothing wrong with any of these other colors, but if we remove these, and we just leave, honestly, even just these 4, I think that would be kind of cool, kind of a cool palette. But I could see throwing in these 3 as well. Yeah, right? Okay, so I'm gonna play with that in a couple hours and throw together something to do a quick mushroom video about. Because I haven't done I do these swatching things, but it would be really nice to actually like show the paints in action, so I think I'm gonna do that. I'll probably choose a couple of those. So, yeah, I think that's what I'm up to. I will see you in a bit. You too. Bye-bye, everyone.